So we're here in the Galleria Borghese, and we're looking at Bernini's David from 1623.
This is a sculpture carved in marble, and it depicts a moment from the Hebrew Bible when the Israelites are facing off against their enemies, the Philistines.
This is the classic underdog story, David facing off against this much more powerful enemy.
Right. David was a shepherd boy, Goliath was a giant and a warrior, and Goliath was the favored fighter in this episode of single-handed combat.
And the moment that Bernini is choosing to depict is an action moment.
Right. Even though he is following these other well-known sculptures of David, such as Donatello's David and Michelangelo, Bernini is choosing to depict a different moment in this story.
If you look at Michelangelo's David, it's a standing David before the battle.
Donatello's sculpture shows David in the moment after the battle, after he's defeated Goliath and he's standing on the giant's head.
Here we have a David in action, and you can really see that tension in the sling, which Bernini has so carefully carved.
The sculpture is depicting the body in a way that the viewer can really feel. It's not idealized and distant, it's immediate. It feels physical.
I almost feel like I should back away because he's about to sling a rock right into my face.
This is really a hallmark of the period of art which came to be known as Baroque. It started moving away from the idealism of the Renaissance and tended toward a greater realism or naturalism in the treatment of the body and the focus on movement.
Another thing I find really interesting about this sculpture is the fact that every single angle you look at this sculpture from, it's very active.
So the work itself encourages the viewer to walk around and view the work from different angles. It's hard to sum up the work in a single flat image from one angle.
This is not a work that's just standing flat against a wall. It's meant to be viewed in the round.
So this sculpture was commissioned by Cardinal Scipione Borghese for what was then his villa, the Villa Borghese.
According to Bernini's contemporary biographer, it took him 7 months to make the sculpture. And at the time he sculpted this, Bernini was only about 24 years old. So you can just see the potential and the artistic vision of this young person who's capturing this intense moment in stone.
You know, everyone is so familiar with Michelangelo's David, but you really don't want to miss Bernini's David in the Galleria Borghese.